Hello everyone, Manthral here, and welcome back to the weekly update videos slash patch notes for RuneScape. This week there actually is mostly just I believe it is just patch notes this week. But there is, I believe this is supposed to be a dev blog. It does say dev blog here, so this should just be dev. But it's actually some pretty big news as far as things are going with mining and smithing with the Stone Spirit and component fixes. So, overall, in a nutshell, I read over this, and essentially what they're stating and what they're saying in this is there is too much ore getting into the game still because the AFK method is too good. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to be reducing it, and by making that reduced, it actually increases the demand for the stone spirits, and it actually would. And also with what they're doing with the components fixes with smithing, it'll actually help boost that as well. So the changes are as currently what they are looking to do. Now they do want feedback on this, so you can check the forums, Twitter, and Discord. Those are usually the best ways to get in contact with them. However, this is what the plan is currently. So currently, when your stamina drops to zero, is your passive mining progress is lowered to about 80% of what you normally get if you play actively. Taking into account that rock opportunities effectively double your rates when playing at least semi-active, AFK mining is about 40% as effective as active mining. So that is the current issue. So that they are actually looking to change it that at zero stamina you will get about 20% passive mining progress, which is including rock opportunities. This will result in AFK mining being about 10% as effective as active mining, or passive or semi-active. It's a fourfold reduction in XP and ore. So this is actually something that is kind of a big deal. Now some people will probably get a little pissed off because this is effectively basically taking it out of the equation for AFK training. But if you keep in mind, they have to do stuff like this. This game cannot be pure AFK, because if we keep going as pure AFK, it's just going to eventually disrupt and destroy the economy. Now, the one other thing about the current economy when it comes to ores is there is such a surplus from how the ores used to be that there's still that issue. So do keep that in mind. Once the ores from before the mining and smithing rework get burned up, then things will be, getting a little bit better. But this change should increase the price of the stone spirits and make them more worthwhile getting, because now there's going to be less ore in the game, which means better. Well, not quite yet now, but eventually. And the smithing components, now this is the one that I think personally actually might need a little bit of work. So this is whereas before every disassembled item, whereas before every item disassembled into 8 components, items will now disassemble into 3 components for each bar used in the manufacture, which includes bars used to upgrade to higher levels. For example, a longsword +1 costs 2 bars to make plus 2 bars to upgrade for a total of 4 bars. So, when disassembled, that is your 4 bars times 3 components, and you will have 12 components for that one longsword, which is up from 8. This is the biggest change is the Elder Rune plate body at +5, which used to provide 8 components and now disassembles into a massive amount of 480 components. And it says now the junk rate will be standard for the level item in practice. This would mean that Elder Rune items would be worth disassembling. Wouldn't be worth disassembling. So to increase their value, they've given them a higher chance of providing uncommon components. So something very, very much to keep in mind with this. That is a lot of components. It'll actually make smithing and buying the smith gear way more worthwhile. And of course, you can still get salvage and get some that way, but it is no longer going to be the only and optimal way to get it. Salvage will now kind of be what it was, I think, directed to be, which is just a high alch. So they said they're also making two other small changes, issues created by these major changes. It says the first is that Saren stones exist as intentionally AFK mining content, which would be seriously nerfed by the stamina changes. To alleviate this, they are removing stamina as a mechanic from Saren stones entirely. This means you will always mine at a full rate, which is fine as Saren stones don't produce ore, which can be devalued. So it's a non-tradable ore. That is essentially why that is happening. The second change is that with the huge buff to components, the breakdown perk would be insanely strong. So they're looking to also change it to reflect the new rates. These are actually kind of minor, and I think overall this is actually pretty good. And this is apparently it looks like a Mod Jack and Mod Shogun design, and because it actually has their names at the bottom here, but it looks pretty good if you ask me. But now we're going to go onto the patch notes. So, it says, do you need something to spice up your life? Are you feeling less spooky? Well, do not fear, or do. The farmers of Gielinor have been at hard work growing lots of pumpkins ready for Halloween season, adding decorations to the trees across the world. So, it's Halloween time. And one thing they still haven't done yet that they should do is they should release pumpkins into Gielinor for the farming skill. I mean, this would be the perfect time to do it, is to release pumpkin seeds, and people could make pumpkin. They could have it so you can make pumpkin pie, pumpkin cheesecake, you can have a pumpkin lantern. You know, some fun stuff, but some actual uses out of it. And it could be right up there with watermelon. I mean, they're essentially, well, to me, they're similar. I know I'm going to get some grief for that. But one thing I always thought of too, is like they have watermelon, but they don't have stuff like cantaloupe and stuff like that. It's like, let's expand a little bit on the basic necessities. They don't have cherries either. I just realized that. We should be able to grow a cherry tree. Anyway, when interacting with Jack Oval, the player will always move in front of them. Switch buttons, tooltips, and functionality have been corrected on additional action bars in Legacy mode. Fix an issue causing the Frenzied achievement to be claimed several times. Required items for quest Curse of Arav has been updated correctly. Elsewin no longer says it's time we left when he is traveling alone. Instead, the message now reads it's time to leave. Updated solo PVM achievements to mention when they require that you are in a solo instance. When being prompted about out-of-date graphics drivers, the don't show again for 90 days checkbox will no longer be offset. The quest information for making history quest has been updated to have the correct age. After finishing the tourist trap quest, you can now go back and pass through the mine cave entrance to access the ore on the other side. Clan Vexiliums can now be placed without the Vex being equipped. Good job. Proper music now plays during the boss fight in the quest Smoking Kills. Fix Dondakan the dwarf mentioning he's holding a rune pickaxe when he in fact holds an adamant one. Now during the Light Within quest, when you keepsake override exoskeleton pieces, you can ask Arwen to reclaim another one for the quest objective. Updated the mobile currencies pouch to include drop shadow on text. The clan members list has been visually increased in size on mobile. This includes the buttons on the pop-out menu to prevent accidental taps. Fixed an issue with the spell and ability book filters that was causing the filters to not be toggled on desktop if they were toggled off on mobile. Fixed magic book filtering, always defaulted to abilities. Improvements have been made to the currency pouch on both clients. These include Premium currencies are now available in detailed currency pouch view in their own section. The small view currency pouch has been removed from the backpack on the mobile only as it was too small to be reliably used. The currency pouch button that was on the backpack has been added to Worn Equipment panel on mobile only. They've added the ability for your phone to receive notification when your port shipped to return. To get these notifications, send your ships out on your phone. That is awesome. Awesome. All right. That is it for this week's update. So thank you guys so much for watching. And one more thing I almost forgot to mention. Do not forget, tomorrow starts the mobile, early access mobile. So it says if you remember, you can access it and you can use it. I wouldn't necessarily say free to play is out of the question, but it is something that you would actually have to check and find out. So do keep this in mind, and thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share, whatever makes you happy. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, later, guys.